Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge, a podcast dedicated to providing real-life resources for early education professionals. The Teacher's Lounge is hosted by Noelle Dentino and Jessica Day. Together, they bring almost 50 years of combined experience in and out of the early education classroom, offering a wealth of knowledge and practical insights that you need now if you're in childcare. Whether you're a new assistant or making the leap from lead teacher to director, we have you covered. Join us as we delve into the unique challenges and opportunities of each role, sharing our experiences and expertise with practical tools to help you succeed. So, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite drink, and let's jump into the lounge. Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge, a podcast dedicated to providing real-life resources for early education professionals. The Teacher's Lounge is hosted by Noelle Dentino and Jessica Day. Together, they bring almost 50 years of combined experience in and out of the early education classroom, offering a wealth of knowledge and practical insights that you need now if you're in childcare. Whether you're a new assistant or making the leap from lead teacher to director, we have you covered. Join us as we delve into the unique challenges and opportunities of each role, sharing our experiences and expertise with practical tools to help you succeed. So, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite drink, and let's jump into the lounge. Hey there, it's Noelle. How are you today? I'm going to tell you I'm pretty good because right now I'm recording this podcast and I am all alone in my house. This never happens, so it's pretty amazing. Today I have an exciting topic to talk about because I know that we have many of you out there that have just come from the role of lead teacher and you're jumping into assistant director, or you're going from assistant director to leading the center on your own, or maybe taking a new job and going to a different center. And so today I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that you can do as a brand new leader or a leader of a brand new center that you've just moved to. And because I know as a new leader, it can feel overwhelming with so many tasks and responsibilities that, require our attention or that maybe you have to learn. But I believe that it's important to prioritize certain activities that will help you jumpstart your leadership and set yourself up for success. And one thing I know is that we must make time as leaders to schedule specific hours each day to focus on these critical leadership tasks. And I know a center that I'm thinking of right now that I went to one time, and it was a new leader. She'd been there for about 6 months, and she was struggling with a lot of different things. And it's just overwhelming. And so when she approached her new position as director for the first time, she didn't really have a plan. She just was like, I'm going to get in there. And she thought about the kids and she thought about the curriculum. And those are super, super important. But how the business works is important. The people, the policies, all the things. And so she just was overwhelmed and it just wasn't working. This woman is an amazing director. And when she got herself on a plan of focusing on what needed to be focused on, and for every center, that's going to be different. And you're the new leader, so you're going to decide what that looks like. But when she put herself on a plan, good things happened. And when she scheduled time in her day to do these things, it just kept getting better and better. And I find often when people are in new leadership roles, figuring out that time thing is so important. Because as a director, we both know you're going to sit at your desk right now and you're going to dive into something that you've been dying to dive into. And you're going to find out that you're going to get interrupted 7,000 times before, maybe in the next 5 minutes, really figuring out a way to set boundaries, schedule this time. And if you head to the Directors Club podcast, there is an episode called Boundary Boss. Listen to that if you need help with setting up systems to create more time. And because this time is super important, because this doesn't include when you set aside this time to work on your leadership, it does not include answering the phone and taking bathroom breaks or faxing paperwork and doing kids' files. It means focusing on something specific you need to do to establish yourself as a strong and effective leader. And when we prioritize these activities, you can set a foundation for your leadership and position yourself for success in this new role. So let's dig into 5 things we can do to set yourself up for success. And I want to preface this with, these are 5 suggestions, okay? And when I share something with you, some people take it as is and they run with it because you know what? It works. I do this with centers. I own my own childcare center and it works. But sometimes you don't need to do, you can listen to what I'm going to say and think about your center and your perspective on what you see your vision to be and pick your own plan. But what's important about this podcast and this system is that you have a plan and that you make time to implement that plan and you set boundaries so that you get that time. Okay. So that's what I want you to think about, because your plan, you just need a plan. And so here's an example of a plan. The first step is to get to know your staff and their strengths. That is critical. You need to start building those relationships. So take the time to get to know your team and what their strengths are. And as they will be your biggest asset in achieving your goals at your childcare center. So kick it off with scheduling one-on-one meetings with everybody and learn more about who they are and their experience, what they're really good at and what they want to be great at and that you can support them in, and their biggest struggle is at the center so that you can help them, and continue those one-on-ones. I would schedule one right away, and then maybe in a couple months, start just every week grabbing a couple of them and just continue this rotation every week of your meeting for 15 minutes with every employee. Not every week, but every week you just grab 2. So like maybe in a month of you doing 8. So every month you just like tackling 8 to 10 people, and just a continuous system of at least 3 times a year meeting with with your team. Who'll come up with a schedule, because that's the connection that you really need with your team. Those one-on-one moments where you're not sitting there giving them direction or giving them feedback. Those are other meetings. This is a connection. This is a relationship building session I want you to think about. And I call them employee check-ins at my center. And you can stop a problem. You can just support somebody. I think it's just super helpful. So the first step is get to know your staff. The second thing is review your policies and procedures of this. Your center, your new center has policies and procedures to ensure that you're up to date, right, and align with the best practices in early childhood. So if any needs changing needs to be made, or you need to communicate them to your staff or your parents, go through the policies. I think it's also good that it's important that we get buy-in on some of the things that we do as leaders from our team, that part of this whole process. If you're reviewing policies, maybe check in with people and see what they think of your view of it, get their feedback. Those conversations are so powerful. And I think they're beneficial to when we go to implement them. Step 3 is familiarize yourself with the center's curriculum. Get to know the curriculum and how it's implemented. Observe classes and participate in activities to gain a better understanding of how it's applied in the classroom. And it's also, a good thing to see what they need professional development in, what they shine in, what you can sell to parents. Look at this place does. So that's a great time. I love getting in the classroom and observing that when you're starting to figure out how to change things, improve things, or just get to know something. The fourth thing that you can do to set yourself up for success as a new leader is connect with your parents. Take that time to connect with parents and build strong relationships. Introduce yourself to them and let them know you're committed to the children's success. Create an open door policy that allows parents to communicate with you and your team. I think it's also good that I talked to you about employee check-ins. I think parent check-ins are just as important. And we can just shoot a quick email to somebody and say, just want to check in and see how things are going. Anything we can improve is what's going really well. Any suggestions you have, I want you to know I'm always here for you confidentially. And we send one of those to parents a couple times a year, just these one-off emails, and you can stop a problem in employees and with parents. You can stop a problem by having those, because sometimes something might be bothering somebody so much that they're like, oh, this isn't worth talking about. This isn't worth telling them. Or they're afraid to tell you, for not that you're fearful, but they're afraid to have confrontation. And sometimes people are like, you know what? I'm so sick of dealing with this. I'm just going to leave. And this is for teachers and for parents. And they could end up, you could send that email and they could write you back and say, you know what? This is really bothering me. And it's something so simple that you can fix. And then they don't leave the center and they feel like they're heard. I think that's so important. And that just strengthens your relationship with the parents. And then the fifth goal that you can set for yourself up for success as your new leader is set clear goals and expectations. So you need to set clear goals and expectations for your team and communicate them clearly. And develop a plan of action that outlines how you will achieve your goals. And regularly review your progress to ensure that you're all on track. And my favorite part is to provide regular feedback and recognition to your team to keep motivated and engaged. So say you come in and you decide that the place is going great. Everybody's doing wonderful. It's an amazing team. You'd like to kick the curriculum up a notch. What does that look like? So that is a great time, a great discussion at the staff meeting. Share all the strengths that they have, and then a vision of what you see this curriculum going to be, so that they see it and you tell them what it looks like. If you really want to add more nature into your classroom, what does that look like? Oh, I would love to see you outside during circle time. I would love to see you outside during this. And so really give them some specifics and then brainstorm some specifics, right? So you're going to maybe start saying by next Monday, I'd like to see you getting outside one extra time during the day or whatever you want to do. And then have them talk about it and then walk out with, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. You're going to get the naysayers like, oh, I can't get outside. I can never get them outside that early. Brainstorm around it. Say it. Okay, so if you're stressed right now and because you're like, how the heck am I going to get outside at this time? Let's brainstorm on it. Like, what's concerning us, and let's talk through it. And then you'll have this awesome discussion with your new team where you're all collaborating together. And then the next staff meeting, come back and reflect on how did it go? What went really well and what didn't? These can be like such a motivating time. And then celebrate. Come to that staff meeting and have some concrete things you saw, call the girls out, and really celebrate with how they did it. And so that was the 5 things you can do to set yourself up for success. Okay, so it's get to know your staff and their strengths, review policies and procedures, familiarize yourself with the center's curriculum, connect with your families, and set clear goals and expectations. Okay, so those 5 things. And just write them down and just make a plan, like set time. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to work on my employee connections this week. Book the time on your calendar like you're getting your hair done, okay? Book the time on your calendar. 2 to 4, I'm doing this. 1 to 3, like whatever it is you're going to do. Come up with it. And set that time aside every single day to work through whatever you set your things up. So if these are going to be your list as a new leader, then start working on it and set the time aside. Because it is super, super important as a new leader that you learn that skill of setting time aside to create your leadership journey. When we set aside time and are strategic with what goals we're going to work on, my friend, that's the secret sauce to leadership. That's when you set goals, whatever they are, you book the time to do them, then you reflect on them. You reflect on how it's going. It's delete, delete, delete. And when we set aside this time, delete, delete. So when you do this, you get improved focus and productivity. By setting aside specific hours to work on important leadership tasks, you can improve your focus and productivity. You can avoid distractions and interruptions, allowing you to accomplish more in a shorter amount of time. This really is super helpful. It has made me less stressed and I get more done. Some days I'll just go in the office and tell everybody I'm shutting the door from 10 to 11. Let me know if there's a fire drill and call it a day. I don't want to hear from you. And you know what? It works. It works. Another thing when you do this is it's effective time management. It's establishing a system that prioritizes specific hours for leadership tasks that help you manage your time more efficiently. You can allocate the necessary time for your leadership tasks, which can help you avoid feeling overwhelmed or overworked. And I hate that feeling when you're like, oh, I'm not getting this done. It's on my list and I'm not doing it. And another thing that I think is super beneficial when you do set aside this time is stronger leadership skills. When we focus on the critical delete, delete, delete. When we focus on critical leadership tasks, it can help you develop and strengthen your own leadership skills. And this just helps you build a solid foundation for your role as a new leader at your childcare center. And by allocating the necessary time and attention to these things, you can improve your ability to lead and inspire others and make sound decisions and achieve your goals. So, if you're moving into a new leadership role and you're listening to gain knowledge to increase your skill set as a leader, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. I love finding great resources to benefit my learning. So, in 30 to 60 days, I want you to come back to this podcast and re-listen to it. Because we always gain a new perspective after you've been doing the role for a little bit. So add it to your calendar in 60 days to come back and just really hold yourself accountable for the goals that you're going to set. And reevaluate at that time. I want you to reevaluate these the 5 things I still need to be focusing on. You feel like you got the staff part. Now you're going to dig into the review and the policies. One of the 5 steps that we talked about in the beginning of the podcast. So I want you to really come back and think about it and reflect on how it's going and then recommit to the next 60 days and just keep checking in with yourself and making sure that you're on the right path. So thank you for listening and taking your time. I appreciate that. I know that's so valuable. And I hope this content helped. I would love it if you would head to the show notes and give us a rating. Let us know how we're doing. And you can connect with us. All of our links are in this podcast. And let us know, are we hitting the topics that you need now? What topic, like if I could talk to you right now, what do you need to hear? Let us know, because we are developing new content to help you with your leadership and to mentor the teachers at your childcare center. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. And that brings us to the end of this episode of the Teacher's Lounge. We're so grateful for your time and hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring. Remember, you are doing an amazing job in the field of early education, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, take care, and we'll be back soon with more resources, insights, and inspirations to help you succeed. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all our social medias to stay up to date on the latest happenings inside the lounge. Keep up the great work. We're cheering you on. And that brings us to the end of this episode of the Teacher's Lounge. We're so grateful for your time and hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring. Remember, you are doing an amazing job in the field of early education, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, take care, and we'll be back soon with more resources, insights, and inspirations to help you succeed. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all our social medias to stay up to date on the latest happenings inside the lounge. Keep up the great work. We're cheering you on.